Hello, good morning and welcome to New Forest Morphs. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend and enjoyed the nice weekend. So this morning Jared and I have been doing a lot of cleaning, but also we're ready to start doing a couple of pairs. I think we've got 3 more pairs to do.
Yeah.
And the good news, Jared, is that one of our boys, you checked for sperm, and Yahzoo is now producing sperm, so we are going to put him to, and he's the albino 100% het clown that we featured over the weekend. And we're going to, before we pair him up to Zina, who's the clown 100% het albino, because we're trying to produce albino clowns, we're going to check her follicle growth and her weight, and we'll pair them together today. The other thing we're going to do is we've also got a super gravel project that we're working on, Jared. Tell us a bit about your thoughts on that project, Jared.
I guess there's not really much to say. It's a super gravel that is going to be 100% het clown.
Yeah, her name's Electra, and she's about 2k, and we've got a beautiful gravel boy called Skip, who is a
Pastel Gravel het clown.
Pastel Gravel 100% het clown. So we're going to put Skip to her, and we're hoping to produce some super gravels, which
50% het clown,
which are going to be 50% het clown, which would be a lovely project to have. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then the third pairing, Jack, you've already slipped a pairing in while I wasn't looking.
It was the Apollo, the super pastel banana orange dream, to a Calico.
Yeah, so we've got a beautiful Calico girl who's over here, and her name is Pringle, and she is being paired to Apollo. So we'll show you those 3 pairs. So I think the first thing I wanted to do before we move on to check the girls before we pair is to do a shout out. Now I've got a channel that I've been watching which I think is really good, and I can recommend this to our viewers. And I've just got a little quick preview here, Jared, if you want to just video it there. So this guy's called Anton, and he's got a company called DPR, and he's got over 1,000 subscribers. He's been doing this for several years, and he runs 2 professional collections full time. He came in as a student, started working for a friend of his on his collection, and they both work from the same premises. He has the upstairs and his friend has the downstairs, and they've got some amazing combinations. And I'll just show you a quick taste of his video here. So here we go. Hopefully the internet will work.
What's up guys, Anton here at DPR, and this week we have a very cool video, and I'm super thrilled to show you all the holdbacks, well, most of the holdbacks that we held back from 2020. Let's jump right into it. So what better to start off than the actual very first baby we hatched back in March in 2021. This is the Orange Dream Yellow Belly Red Stripe Cinnamon Clown, and she grew a little bit, as you can tell. Guys, honestly, as well as she really changed from when she hatched. I'll post a little video right now, but right now she looks different but amazing. She does have much of a browner coloration than before, but the Orange Dream is doing some crazy thing on the sides. Look at that, and we have that beautiful kind of yellow belly effect, affecting those kind of bubbly Allen heads along those sides. So that is truly amazing. So stoked to have such a female, and guys, the potential of such an animal is really endless. When you think about it, you could do either double recessive, you could go with a crazy het clown male, you could have some crazy visual to visual. The potential with such a female is absolutely endless, and you can pair such a girl for like literally 10 years and have a different male and have a crazy outcome of a clutch every single year. Second snake is from the 3rd clutch of the season. This is a beautiful holdback. That is a Morphs.
There we go. So there's a little sample there. Please go check him out and follow him on YouTube, and have a look at some of his combinations. It's certainly inspired me to think very carefully about our collection, Jared. So it's always good to get inspiration from other breeders and to network and work. So let's have a look and see, who should we do the ultrasound on first, Jared? Who would you like to have a look at? Zina first, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah. So let's just bring Zina out. So here she is. Oh, she's absolutely beautiful. Talk about clowns, Jared. Just look how beautiful she is. Is she lovely? Yeah. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we're just going to weigh her first. We can record her weight, and then once we've recorded her weight, we can then do the ultrasound as well. So let's just get the scales out.
Just do it up here so there's no risk.
Should we do it over? Yeah, thank you, Jared. You set that up. And I'll bring her out. So she is beautiful. She's pounding food at the moment, Jared. So let's just weigh her and just see how much she weighs. I'm going to say close to 1900. What I'm saying. What do you think?
1450.
That doesn't seem right. No, that's not right.
Yeah, it must be off balance.
There's no way that's right. I can see 1666. I still think that's.
I think the lid is a bit curved.
Can we just put it back on the jar? Put it on there. Let's just see. I think you'll find that it's going to be a lot more than that. I just do it at an angle. Two 148. So when you're weighing your snakes, always make sure you've got a nice firm base. Otherwise, we could end up getting the wrong reading. So she's got plenty of reserve, and that's really important to check that, Joe, isn't it? We want our girls before they go to have the reserve, and before they start building, because believe it or not, when you start pairing, they might be starting off at 2 kilograms, but they can get up to 3 kilograms literally in 6 months. So they can pound. So,
well, she's in a good position for ultrasound.
Yeah,
Shall we do that?
I'll do that, Jad. If you want to do the ultrasound, and then let's see whether we can find out if she's got any follicles. So she's 100% het for albino. She's a beautiful example of a clown, and she came from Italy. We imported her about a year ago, Jad, and she's just been pounding and pounding food. She went off food for a little short period, but not much. But she didn't seem to go. She broke through the 1000 wall. She never had a 1000 wall. She just went straight through, didn't she, Joe?
Yeah.
So
let's take her bowl out.
Yeah.
It's in the way.
Okie dokie. The other thing is we've gone for big bowls because, yeah, with the big bowls, Jared, the rationale behind that is extra humidity, but also for cooling purposes. As these snakes get bigger, I think it's really important that we give them ample cooling opportunities, and I think the larger the water bowls, the better the cooling, because they can then cool more of their follicles. So you'll find you get better follicle growth. This is a little top tip, is greater follicle growth sometimes with the greater bowls. Obviously you have to match the bowls with the size of the animal that you're breeding. Yeah, there we go, Jared's on. Let's have a little look and see what we can see. Now I can see the rib cage. Oh, there you go, you've got a gallbladder. So we always like to find that, and below the gallbladder I think I can see some follicles. Jared, just hold it there. I'll freeze it. Got it. There's quite a few there.
Right. Oh, there's white things.
Yeah, I think these are follicles.
I thought they were more black.
They go white as they get bigger. I mean, we can double check it if you like.
Yeah,
you just double check, because it's sometimes really difficult to establish whether you've actually got the follicles or not. And this is quite new to us, but Jared's getting particularly good at this now. So
I would say that it's adequate. Oops.
we know roughly where the zone is.
Yeah.
And now you found the gallbladder, you know that just below the gallbladder is normally the follicle growth. And let's see what she's got. Of course, even if her follicles are not massive, we can put the void to her because it will stimulate her to grow them. And, God, Jared, there's something big in there. Look.
It's hard because she's moving so much. Yeah.
I mean, they look like really big follicles, don't they? It's quite amazing.
Keep it flat.
Yeah.
And when it's not flat, sometimes it looks like there's stuff there.
Yeah, I think we'll have to get the pillowcase approaching that we keep talking about doing. Either that, or I can just calm her down. And let's just see. Top up with some more, Jared, if we need to.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to find out what's going on. It does take a little bit of technique and a little bit of trial and error, but it's a real great tool to have this, just to see where we are with these girls. And let's say she's 2 kilograms, so there's a good chance that she's got good size follicles. I really do think that we've got. Hold it there, Jack. I think we've got some large follicles here. Look at these. See the eggs?
There's big white ones.
I think we could have some really big follicles there. Okay, this is really potentially good news. Let me hold that jab while you clean up. We'll give the animal a clean first, and then we'll clean up the probe. We'll measure the follicles, but they look to me as though they could be as big as 12 to 15, Chad, which would be fantastic. Adam has been twigging the...
I thought it looked a bit different.
Yeah, and I think it's clearer actually, it works, because what he's done, he's increased the depth and magnification of the field, which means the probe goes deeper, so you can see deeper into the animal's body. But also he's improved the clarification of what you're looking at as well. So I think that could also assist in getting the visual. Now, because we were expecting small black marbles, I think we've not realised that she's a bit more further progressed than we think.
Yeah, maybe. Unless it's something to do with how he set it up.
Yeah. But we'll measure. The computer will be consistent, so when we measure using the computer facilities, even if he's changed the size of the image, it won't actually, it will reflect in the size of the follicles, so we should be okay. Thank you, Jared, for doing that. Right, do you want to then just measure those, Jared? Or should I measure them? You can measure them if you like.
Actually, you do, because I don't know
Okay.
what you're looking at, really.
Okay, so if we go for, where are we? Measure
Top
2.
one. Just top one.
Is it the top one? I wonder what measure 2 does. We're going to have to experiment with this at some point. And then it's got eclipse, polygon, and you've got 3D. So we might have to experiment with that as well, Jack. See whether we get a 3D image. Oops, that was eclipse. Okay, let's go measure. Oh, let's go clear. Then we go back to measure. Then we go distance. Okay, let's just measure these eggs. Let's go for the first one. Is it set we need? I don't want to disappear it. And then we go to the left hand side.
Cool, I can see it better on this camera than I can on the screen.
Yeah, I think we've got some nice little eggs here. 10.2 mil. So we've got clearer, bigger images than we were having before, and you can actually see that they are egg size.
Yeah.
So I think that what Adam's done for us is fantastic, because I think a lot of people I've seen on YouTube don't really know how to use their machine, because I'm always seeing these little black marbles, and that's why I thought that was the norm, but they've got it on the factory setting. So I think you've got to play with your machine and try to get depth of focus, depth of magnitude, and also look at just playing around with the visual. But I think we've got a much better visual there. So what we need to do now, Jared, is record that on our reptile scan. So what we'll do is get the reptile scan up, and what I've done is I've wet her bedding down. Before we put the male in, Jared, I always like to wet the bedding down just to assist with extra humidity.
I'll get the male.
You get the male out, and she was 10.2 on the ultrasound.
Yeah. Here it is. Yahzoo.
Okay, so I've got that in, and then let's put him in. Jazz popped in this morning and he's producing sperm. This is the first time we've seen him produce sperm. I've weighed him yesterday and he's weighing 960, I think he was 960 grams, Jazz. So let's just put those two together. And that's the beginning of our Clown, Albino Clown project. And I know there's one or two viewers that love albinos and clowns. So let's hope and pray that they manage to lock and build something there for the future. So that's really exciting. Really love that, Jared. So let's move on to the other project that you've put together, which is Apollo and Pringle. You've only just put them in. Should we have a little peek sneak and see what's going on? They've been in for about 10 minutes.
They're on top of each other, but
They're on top of each other. There you go.
No connection yet.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave them in peaks. So he's a super pastel orange dream banana, and she's a calico, and I think that would make a lovely combination, Jared. So the next one we're going to check is the female is Electra. We're going to see how big her follicles are. So let's just bring her out. She is the super gravel girl, and again I have wet her down a little bit prior to pairing, and we haven't really weighed her for a while, so we should weigh her, Jared. See how much she weighs, although she is perfect.
She's a big girl, yeah, she's in a good position.
She's in a good position. Let's not weigh her, but she's going to be about 2.3, 2.4. and she looks absolutely super, Jared. And of course, if you look at the Super Gravel, it looks as though she's a highway, because can you see the markings on her back?
Yeah.
But she does produce highways if you put her to a yellow belly. So Gravel and yellow belly create the highway, and we're going to go straight into getting some Super Gravel hopefully, which are 50% het for Clown. That's what we're after, with Skip going in there. So anything going on, Jared?
Not yet.
No? Oh, she's behaving herself really well, Jared. I think I spoke too soon. She's heard me. Look, she's on investigation, thinking, what's going on here? That's really, really cool.
We'll get used to this new layout he's done. I think I preferred the last one.
Yeah, it is. I think once you find them, you get a lovely visual, Jared. And let's just see if I can see anything going on. Did you find her gallbladder?
Not yet. Is that an egg at the top there?
Maybe work down a bit, Jared.
A bit more gel.
I'd work down. And once you find the gallbladder, just work your way down.
I haven't found the gallbladder yet.
Okay.
The gel's all staying on a bit more today.
Yeah.
The gallbladder there? Or is that an egg? That's an egg, isn't it? A circle.
I think that's it. Could be. Well,
Yeah, it's got an egg, surely.
I think that's near. Hold it there. I'm going to freeze.
See what it should be.
Wow.
I'll find it there.
Yeah. All the gel's on that blob, Jared. Just to see whether you can get it back on there. Oh. It's not easy finding them, but once you find them, it's very satisfying. Ah, what's that? There's something there. That could be a gallbladder, Jared. And if we work our way down, egg should be right behind the gallbladder. Ah, there you go, keep going. Wow, look at those. There's some good sized follicles there, Jared, look at that. Very good. I'm going to hold that for you. So, Electra's out exploring. She's been a good girl, behaved herself pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, she's pretty good on the whole.
She's a lovely girl. She's one of my favourite snakes, Jared. And she's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. There she is. Shall I take that, Jared, and then you can clean the snake?
Oh, my finger.
Yeah, there she is. Look, look. She feeds ever so well. She's a great feeder, Jared, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's been a great feeder from day one. Yeah, it's really, really lovely girl. She wants to play with the ultrasound. Can we hold that, Jared? There we go. So, we'll put her back, Jared.
Sure.
And then we'll pair her up. Do you want to get Skip?
Yeah.
Introduce Skip to her. She's nice and moist in there, which is what you want. She definitely wants to go on exploration mode. Come on, darling. The boy's a little bit hissy. Come on, darling. Stop. In you go. Let's just put those together. In he goes, and hopefully the Super Gravel project begins here. And Skip has already locked to Mango twice, is it, Jack?
Yeah, twice.
So he's already locked her twice, so we know that he's producing sperm, and we also know that he's quite capable of locking. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be good. Now we just got to measure the follicles, and let's see how big they are. Let's just see if we can find those. Now if I go up to measure distance, and let's have a look at the eggs. One there, and I'd say probably there. 15.3.
Well,
Goodness me, she is well developed, and it doesn't surprise me because she's just a beast of a girl, isn't she? So we've got some really big follicles there. It looks really really exciting. So I hope you enjoyed that that little video. I just wanted to say a couple of things when it comes to pairing. And excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Let me just get a glass of water. So, when we're getting our animals, one of the things I've been thinking about really carefully is the importance of actually knowing the parentage. Why is it important, Jared, to know the parents and sometimes the grandparents, and even going back further? Why is it important to understand the pedigree of the animal that you're buying?
To know what genes are definitely going to be in it.
So you've got, because obviously breeders have to make a judgment call, and with the complexities of genes out there, it's so easy to kind of not ID the snakes perfectly 100% correct. So you will find some of the top breeders in particular that have got such a variety in their gene pool, is they'll often try to sell the snakes with the possibility of there being a gene in there rather than actually saying there is one in there. So you often find that they know they can pinpoint certain genes, but they're not sure whether it's got yellow belly in it or not sure because of the complexity of the gene pool. So what happens often is a good breeder would often undersell the snake. In other words, give you extra, hopefully extras that you want, not extras that you don't want. They often give you more than what you've actually bought, which is probably better to do it that way. So if in doubt, it's always good to then say POS. We had that with the mocker. We sold a couple of our mockers, possible mockers, that we weren't 100% certain they were mockers, so we said they're possible mockers.
And sold them for the price of not mocker.
And then you sell them for the price of a non-mocker. So it's a bonus if the person that's buying from you gets one with a mocker, they're going to be happy. So I think that's a good strategy. But what I've been thinking really carefully about is we've just been sexing. Quick update on the defected clutch that we had last year. We put a Elvis, which is our pied boy, to a pied girl. And when I was new to the hobby a couple of years ago, I didn't actually get the pedigree and the parentage of, because I bought from someone else's collection a whole series of snakes. And what I should have done is I should have actually asked for individual parentage. So I think what could have happened, the reason why we might have a defect...
This is Dad's theory.
Yeah, the reason why I think we've got defected animals is I think that Elvis and the pied girl that came from the same collector could be related. And they could be either brother or sister, or mum and dad, or son and mother. And I think that's the danger, I think, understanding the parentage before you pair. Because if you do too much inbreeding, which is like the blood in the genes, what happens is if you start breeding son to daughter or sister to brother, in some cases that can cause defects because you haven't got a varied bloodline. And if there's any defects in that gene, they magnify themselves more because you double that gene up if you've got the same family breeding, and it magnifies the defect in the offspring. So to avoid that, it's really important to ask for some form of pedigree. And some of the top breeders from Europe that we've imported snakes from have given us their pedigree charts, and not only do we get the parentage, we get the grandparentage, we get the line all the way back. And I think that's quite a good policy, because I think it's wise and safe not to be interbreeding too much. And I think jumping a couple of generations is probably a better, more safer policy. So you might have a great grandparent snake breeding to, you know, a great grandchild, for example, and therefore because you've got so many generations, the blood pool is much purer in the sense that you haven't got the same blood going into the animal. So what we'll do is, just to finish, we'll just do a quick update on those hatchlings and show you how they're doing. They're all feeding well, they're all growing well. Let's have a quick look at them, Jared. And you sexed them today. We haven't sexed them because we wanted them to be a certain size before we sexed them.
They're all sexed other than two of them.
Yeah. So let's start with, let's have a look. We've got Patsy.
Yeah.
Now Patsy, they've all got shark mouth, haven't they, to certain degrees, and one of them is completely blind, and
one has no eyes. Yeah.
no eyes at all. So let me just show you how beautiful this guy is. Is it a girl? It's a girl. So this is a girl, and we'll just put her in the light box so you can see how beautiful she is. Now, I weighed her the other day, Jared, and she was quite small, wasn't she, when she was born?
Yeah, I'm assist feeding her because she's got an overbite.
Yeah, she has got an overbite. I think her patterns are absolutely beautiful, Jared. Just look at the patterns now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put her in the light box. If you can get a little view of her, see if you can get a nice picture of her, Jared. Bring her forward. Maybe bring her a little bit forward. Lovely. It's quite unusual to get a cinnamon pie with 3 patches.
Saddles, yeah.
3 saddles.
She's a pretty snake.
She
It's a
really
shame about
is.
the underbite. But
And I think the reason why she's got more patterns is because the mother she's a very, very extremely low white pied. Even though the father is a very high white pied, the mother's genes and the father's combining give you those extra saddles, in my opinion. But the if you look at her mouth underneath, Jared, do you want to have a look at her? Zoom in, you can see that and she was a challenge feeding her, wasn't she, Jared? Because she kept on throwing the food out because she had less. Her mouth was so much bigger that she could throw it out. Can you see that? I could take it
There
into
we
the
go, yeah, I
light.
can see that.
Can you see it?
yeah.
Yeah. So when you're assist feeding her, Jared, tell me the process of what she actually does and when you assist feed her, because
Pretty much the same as any other assist feed.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is because of her underbite, her overbite like that,
Yeah.
she can't strike the food very well herself.
Yeah.
So you have to put it in her mouth, and then she'll coil around it and eat it.
Yeah. But she's probably doubled her weight since birth now, which
Yeah.
is really good, Jared.
I
And
think
what
she's
she
like 40 grams when she was born. She's about 100 and something now.
Yeah. So she's doubled her weight, and what are you feeding her?
Fluff.
So she's actually taking wrap fluffs, which is great. And when you assist feed her, Jared, once you get it in her mouth, does she then coil it herself?
Yeah, all of them do.
So that what we're saying here is with the assist feeding, that initially they weren't coiling. They've learnt to coil, even if they can't strike and hold their food. Jared feeds them and away they go. And then we've already got a couple of minutes, so let's just have a look at this one. This is the one that's completely blind. She's about 100 and... she's over 100 now, Jared.
Yeah, she's got no eyes.
Yeah, just have a little look at her. So it could have been an incubation issue, but I think more likely it's a genetic issue. So we're going to have these and keep these all as pets. We're not going to
I
breed
think
with them.
it's an incubation issue. Because I think you got the parents from 2 different places. We need to go back and find out exactly where, but...
Well, I know what I bought, Jared. I definitely didn't.
No.
Okay, I know for sure.
Yeah.
So I do think, because this is the only problem we've had, and all the other clutches of 62 animals have been perfect. So I think this is a genetic issue, and I'm going to be prudent and actually just keep them all as pets.
Yeah, this one's got a lot less of an overbite, and this one eats food by itself.
Yeah.
It strikes them.
Strike feeding and eating by itself, and it's putting on good weight, Jared. So you're doing a grand job. I mean, it's not easy to nurture these animals that have got these defects, but we're learning, and you know, it's lovely to know that they can have a normal life, can eat. And this is the last one. Let's just have a look at this. And what's her name? Or his name?
Dusty.
Dusty. And beautiful animal again. Lovely, isn't it, Jared?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
They're all doing well though.
Yeah. So we've got 3 days before our final eggs of 2021 will hatch, hopefully. They're dimpling very well. Thank you so much for your love and support, and we shall see you next time. Bye bye for now.